Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are going to talk about Clubhouse app and how you can use it and leverage for your business. If you never heard of Clubhouse but you have iPhone, and maybe if you watch this video in the future and Clubhouse arrived on Android, this is a video for you. If you're already on Clubhouse but have no clue how to use it for business, stay with us, because today with me I have two powerhouses of the Clubhouse who will share their wisdom, how you can use Clubhouse for your business, how to enjoy being there, and all the tips and tricks that they are willing to share. Melanie and Gayle, they are also co-speakers of the Magical Creators live event. The Magical Creators live event is a proud sponsor of this channel, so make sure that you follow the link to see when the next event is up. So Melanie, let's start with you.
So my name is Melanie Moore. I am a big vision coach, and I use the power of EFT and visualization to help you to tap into that big vision, to help you dream big, and to help you to take action towards changing your life. So that's what I do.
Excellent. And over to you, Gayle.
Hi, I'm Gayle Edwards, and I am a global impact and personal brand strategist. And what I do is I educate and empower impact entrepreneurs and intuitive entrepreneurs to just get really clear about who they are, so that that can be conveyed in their messaging, it can show up in their marketing and help them to multiply their profits. But not just profits that are there for their own gain, but profits which also impact communities and marginalized communities across the globe, actually. And that's all part of being part of the human to human economy, doing business with real heart that benefits everybody. So that's me.
Right, thank you. And I've just realized I wanted to ask you both, why did you decide to join Clubhouse? And suddenly I realized that we are connected, because Gayle got invitation, Gayle invited me, and I invited Melanie, and it's like a full circle here. For those of you who don't know, it's easier now, but back in end of December, it was impossible to get invite to the Clubhouse. It was so exclusive, and we were just waiting to get our hands on this application. So Gayle and Melanie, so question to both of you, why did you decide to join Clubhouse app?
The funniest thing, I can honestly say, me being in Clubhouse was 100% only about FOMO. I didn't know what it was. I knew nothing, but I saw a post on your Facebook page, actually, Inga, saying, you know, oh, I've registered for Clubhouse. If anyone's got an invite, let me know. And then another one of my friends responded to your post saying, oh, I've also registered. So if anyone's got, and I thought, hold on, why are they, what are they both registered for that I don't know about? I'm going to register. So I did the same thing. I registered and put a message on my Facebook page saying exactly the same thing. I've registered. If anybody's got an invite, let me know. Not really knowing, to be fair, what it was or how it was even going to be benefit me. But like I said, it was FOMO. And then literally a few days later, out of the blue, one of my connections and friends from across the pond, you know, sent me a message. Gayle, are you still looking for an invite to Clubhouse? Oh yes, hell yes. So I was in, and as soon as I was in, I was hooked. It was that instant.
Great. What about you, Melanie?
Well, I had registered about a month earlier, and but I didn't really give it too much thought. I thought, oh, you know, when the powers that be let me in, I'll get in there. But and then you messaged me, say, oh, you were looking for an invitation, weren't you? Do you want one? I was like, because when you first join, you only get one invitation, don't you? And it's like, oh, you know, it's like, who shall I give that to? You know, it's got to be somebody special. So I'm very grateful, Inga, that you gave your one invitation to me.
And the same, I was grateful to Gayle, because you kind of feel special. And I would take offense, to be like, full disclosure, if Gayle gave it away to somebody else. It would be, hard to swallow this bitter pill of friendship.
To be fair, I think you give you give out the invitation to people who you think are going to benefit from it. And obviously Inga, in her role as a social media guru, she had to be there.
She absolutely had to be. But also, even more than that, I just couldn't live with the fact that she lives quite close to me. And if I hadn't given her the invitation, she would have turned up at my house. So,
it was fear, wasn't it, Gayle? Fear.
Yeah, fear. To be fair, it was always going to be Inga. For any reason.
Thank you. But Melanie, I took inspiration from your past experience. So when I heard like a couple of times somebody mentioning Clubhouse, I started listening, because I remember how dismissive I was about Periscope when it came in 2015. And I thought, oh, it's another social media app. And a lot of people think the same about Clubhouse app as right now. So I remember I was like 3 months late to the party with Periscope, and I was, thinking that it's just a bright, shiny object. It cannot be used for business, effectively. To be honest, with Clubhouse, I didn't know, but I felt that I need to explore. And that's why I decided to, to join the noise and just to see what is happening. And being in the beginning of a new application, whether it will going to last or not, because Periscope fizzled out. It was taken by Twitter, it fizzled out. But what remained from Periscope, those connections. And the same, if Clubhouse disappears tomorrow, we still have connections.
Absolutely. Do you know what it is, Inga? I think the time that Clubhouse has appeared in our, sphere of awareness, the times that we're in, basically in the UK, obviously, we went into full-on lockdown again, literally at the beginning of this year, just during Clubhouse. The world is pretty much locked up, bored. We can't network, can't travel anywhere internationally. And I love international travel. I've been to, I can't even count how many events I've been to, both in the UK and internationally, where I have networked at a really high level, met incredible people. And I've not been able to do that for a year now. And I was literally starved of connection, particularly, from a business perspective as well. That's how we grow, that's how we learn. And what Clubhouse has done, it's enabled us to network on an international level with high quality people. Desire, that need for human connection is so strong. It's like, this app has come along that's just enabled for it. It's like it's enabled it to happen. So I think it's like the universe has kind of woven its magic to allow incredible connections to take place that they may well have naturally happened anyway, had we have been allowed to network. Because I do believe people come into our lives for a reason. So yeah, that's my take on it, on a woo-woo perspective.
True.
Well, Melanie, what I find most appealing about Clubhouse is that there's no sifting. So if you're on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or any of the other social media, you've got lots of people in your network on those social media. And some people are there because they know you. Some people are there because they're interested. Some people are just there because they've got nothing else to do. Whereas with Clubhouse, you can be very intentional about who you show up with. You go into rooms with the people you want to network with, or the people you want to know more about. The people who want to know more about you come into your rooms for that same reason. So that whole sifting and sorting thing that we tend to do with other social media, we're not doing so much on Clubhouse. You do a Facebook Live and you're hoping, if you're doing it on your timeline, you're kind of hoping that at least one or two people who are interested in what you've got to say, if it's about your business, are going to be interested and show up to listen to it. Whereas in Clubhouse, that the people who show up in that room are there because they are interested. They, you know, and if they're not, they soon leave quietly, as the button says. So yeah, that was one of the things that I really, really love about it. But the other point I wanted to make was about Melanie's point regarding we're all bored, and we are. And one of the words that I wanted for 2021 was accelerate, because I was so bored of 2020 in terms of lockdown. 1 minute we're in lockdown, then we're not in lockdown, then it's eat out to help out, but you still got, you know, everything was just so bitty. So what I really wanted was to accelerate this year and to have a much more smoother ride of things, and Clubhouse has done just that. It has been an absolute acceleration.
Wonderful. You know what happens on Clubhouse? You mentioned comparison with Facebook Live. On Facebook Live, you can go live even if nobody joins you on your broadcast. What happens in the Clubhouse? If you show up alone, you have nobody to talk to, and it's not recorded. And it may be that somebody is afraid of the steps, that what if nobody shows up? I'm opening the room and nobody there. What would be your recommendation? How to avoid this situation?
I would prepare for it, and that's exactly what I have done. Some of the rooms I've shared on Facebook that I'm going to be going live at a certain time, schedule it in advance, because, you know, to begin with, when you're first on, you don't know what you're doing. You literally start a room. Of course, no one knows about it. It's like having a party and not telling anyone. You've got to tell people.
Exactly.
I put it on my Instagram story. Yeah, so I've got into the habit of promoting it and telling people I'm going to be doing this, telling my own communities, giving out invitations to the members of my community as priority, you know, priority ticket holders, and yeah, and, you know, put it on my emails as well. So tell people in advance that you're going to do it.
Absolutely. I agree with Melanie. You know, I know lots of people do spontaneous rooms, and there's nothing wrong with that. But especially if you want to build your visibility and build your profile and really use Clubhouse as part of your marketing strategy, then I would suggest that you do schedule your regular rooms. So like, for example, I have a regular room every Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock. It's the Dare to Be Awesome show. It's where I interview entrepreneurs on what it takes for them to feel successful. And then on a Thursday, I have my brand new room, which is my room for square pegs, where they can show up and ask me anything around branding, communications, networking, marketing. So, and they're scheduled in advance. And like Mel says, you use them in your stories, you invite others from, you know, from across the other platforms. But also the thing to remember is that if nobody shows up, so what? Nobody knows. It's not recorded. Nobody knows that nobody showed up. Nobody knows that you had a room and nobody showed up because they weren't there. So it honestly doesn't matter. But what I will say is there are many different types of rooms that you can host as well on Facebook. What's that? On Clubhouse. There are many, many different types of room. So if, for example, you are worried about people not showing up, host an Ask Me Anything room, like I've just mentioned, where people will see that and they'll think, oh, actually, I have got a question around that subject. Let me just pop it. Because then they will be people that you may not necessarily know, but then you can showcase your expertise. You can have an interview style whereby at least you've got one other person. So if you're like my Dare to Be Awesome show, if I'm interviewing somebody, I'm leveraging their network. So even if my network doesn't show up, theirs more than likely will. Okay. But then you've also got things like the networking hour, which is like what we do on a Wednesday afternoon at 1:30 for intuitive entrepreneurs, where that's for a specific group of people. And because of the Magical Creators community, we know that because all three of us are involved in that, that's 3 networks that come together. So we've always got people coming in and out of that room. There's also the kind of room which is a panel. So if you're worried, get other people who have complementary skills to you, who you can share a panel, you can co-host / co-moderate together. And that's another way of building and showcasing your expertise, but also ensuring that you've got a network of people to draw on. So there are many different ways that you can leverage Clubhouse to showcase without the fear, if you like, of nobody showing up.
Right. And Melanie, I know that you have your approach towards Clubhouse about being intentional. Can you share this with our listeners and how they can apply in their presence on Clubhouse?
Yeah, well, going back to my time on Periscope, I know how addictive a new platform can be, and I was highly addicted to Periscope. I spent hours on the app. I'd go live 3 times a day, and to be honest, I don't have the time for that kind of interaction on this app. Periscope was great for what it did for my business 5 years ago, but this time my business is in a different place where I thought I just can't go down that hole, because you can literally spend all day. There are people who've lost sleep. They literally stay up all night because they then want to catch all the time zones. I decided very early on, I'm going to be intentional about my time, and I will, using my intuition, there's only 3 things I want from attending a Clubhouse room. One is either to learn something amazing, to get an incredible piece of knowledge. 2 is to form an incredible connection who will, benefit me. It will obviously be mutually beneficial. 3 is to get a customer or a lead. That is it. And I'm really not interested in anything else. To be honest, I don't have time for anything else. But above all, to enjoy the process as well, to enjoy it. And it's really weird how sometimes I do use my intuition. Now, I'll see the title of a room and I thought, yeah, I think I will end in that room, end up on stage. Next thing I know, I'm talking about something that I'm interested in, offer value, some knowledge. Next thing I know, 50 new Instagram followers. I think it took me about a year to get 50 new Instagram followers last year. And now I can do it just showing up in one room on Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. So it's highly worth, my time, but it's so important to be intentional.
Right. And also, I would like to ask you both the following question. When you end up being in a room with your gurus, right, people you're looking up to, and you are on stage in Clubhouse, if you want to speak, you need to be on stage and have a mic function on. I find it very intimidating to go into those big rooms and ask the question. And one of the ways, if you ask the question, you are exposed, and you're exposed to new network and to new people. And I think it's important that you ask useful questions. So it's not just to get the answer, but with your question to serve others. Mm. And I find it very intimidating. And I know that when we are in the room with Mel, you always nudge me, like, go to the stage. And even without preparing the question in advance, the main thing is to get on the stage. And Gayle, you had a lot of experience being on the stage, and you are also on speaking panels. So what would be your tips, encouragement to actually find that courage and be on those stages?
Well, I think first and foremost, I have a strategy. As I said, Clubhouse is very much a part of my marketing strategy. So I'm there whenever I'm thinking about going on the stage. Yes, I'm there to ask a question, but I'm also there to add value. So I'm listening to what everybody else is saying. I'm listening to the questions everybody else is asking, so that by the time it gets to me, I'm able to speak into what has already been said. So straight away, I'm positioning myself as an authority, if you like, on what has gone before. But then part of that is to show my own humility and vulnerability by asking a question. And sometimes that's easier said than done, because sometimes it's such an easy topic. You think, oh, crumbs, yeah, I really need to know that technical piece of info. But if not, have a series of questions. Have maybe 2 or 3 questions that are your like fallback questions. So, like, for example, if you're in a room like with one of your heroes, so to speak, thereby you think, oh my gosh, number one, because it's part of my marketing strategy, I want to be on the stage so I can add value, because like Melanie says, that kind of exposure adds to your Instagram, and Instagram is where the connection takes place. Okay, so you want that. But if you're thinking, oh, I know but there isn't really a question here that I can ask, then I have a couple of questions. And one of them, one question is a good old standard, of all the questions that's been asked to you, is there ever a question that you really want to be asked but nobody has asked you yet? Great. Takes the pressure off me, right, and puts the pressure on them, because now they have to think, well, actually, that's a really good question. No one's actually asked me that before. Brilliant. There's another question as well, which comes up quite often, but you can ask it in your way around, like, for instance, if Melanie was asking a question around fear, excuse me, if Melanie was asking a question around fear, you know, lots of people ask their heroes, you know, what's your biggest fear, you know, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Melanie could actually say, so if you could tap away any fear or challenge that you have right now, which one would it be? You know, and straight away they're going to tell her, what do you think she's going to do? Great, okay, well, you know, let's do that. Or would you like, you know, would you like me to help you with that? So that's showcasing expertise as well as asking the question. If you have 2 or 3 of those type of questions, you know, then it's really easy to go and stand up there and put your hand up and set your positioning, as I've already said, and also look as if you're really interested because you've asked the question.
And also, I think there is, you know, maybe this is an energy thing, but it's certainly a visibility thing, because when you are up on the stage, people are way more likely to click on your profile to see what you're about. And you don't know how the universe is then going to connect you with other people who then go on to follow you, come into your room at a later date. Like a week or so ago, I found myself on the stage. It's so funny. I took a screenshot. I was sandwiched between John Assaraf and Sharon Lecter, and they're both in The Secret. They're both incredible law of attraction teachers. And then I'm kind of mentally thinking, this is kind of my sign that one day I want to be on a real stage with these two. And I took a little screenshot. And it's so funny. It was one of those really big rooms. And to be honest, I normally avoid those rooms, but because they were both on the stage, and I think somebody actually pinged, one of the moderators who I knew pinged me on the stage. I was like, okay, then I'll go. And it was hilarious, the positioning. Like, where else in the world could you literally be sandwiched between John Assaraf and Sharon Lecter? It was hilarious.
It's wonderful, and that's the great thing. So, you know, because when that does happen, you want to be prepared. You don't want to see that and think, oh my gosh, I can't go, because it is like being invited to the party and having nothing to wear. So what I'm saying is, have your dress and shoes in reserve. Have a couple of questions that you know that no matter what, you can call on those questions.
Love this, Gayle. Really good.
But, you know, just have a couple of those questions. Like you say, Mel, you don't know, even sometimes when you're in the audience, if you're in a big room and you're just in the audience listening, you can pick up followers from that. But also make sure you've got your infrastructure in place. There's no point being on Clubhouse without a bio, without a Twitter connection, or without an Instagram connection, because then it's lost. It's like going to a networking event and standing at the back of the room with your, you know, with no business cards, your hands, you know, arms folded and not speaking to anybody. What is the point of that? You could as well have stayed home. But I see so many people on Clubhouse that are showing up without their bios and without any social media connection, because there is no messaging on Clubhouse. There's no posting, you know, there's no recording. What happens in the room stays in the room, and then it's done. So that would be another piece of advice I'd say. If you really are interested in connection and using it as a strategy and leveraging it so that you can have more visibility and you can have more leads, then you've got to have the infrastructure in place.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask, I know, well, you have run a lot of rooms, but there are 2, 1 each. I'm going to ask you, and then we will wrap it up, our conversation for today. So, Gayle, you have your regular rooms where you help newbies around the Clubhouse. So, and can you share, like, why did you decide to do it?
Well, I decided to do it really early on when I joined Clubhouse, because as Melanie said already, when you first join, those first 7 days, number one, you have a party hat, so everybody knows you're new, okay, because that lasts for 7 days. But also, you only get one invitation. You get one invitation to share with somebody. And what I found, I'm quite fortunate because I'm quite a quick learner, and I'm one of those people, I'm a secret geek. I'll go in there and do what I need to do, find out what I need. It's like, great, I've got this. But not everybody is like me. And I wanted to know that anybody that I did invite into Clubhouse, that they were going to be having a really positive experience. But also, if you're new and you invite another newbie, then what happens? So that very first week that I was in Clubhouse, I think I joined Clubhouse on a Thursday or Friday. And that first Sunday, Clubhouse have a town hall meeting every Sunday at 5 o'clock, where they talk about what, where they are, what's happening in terms of their development, what their plans are. They take questions. And one of the things I cottoned on to very early is that they are determined to be a social media platform with a difference. They don't want to be the wild, wild west of Twitter. They don't want to be, just like a following machine like Instagram, just influencer city. They really want to create deep and meaningful connections. They want to reward people who are producing content, who are running rooms and moderating. So I wanted to really help. A lot of my community are people who can create content. So I really wanted to help enhance that experience for them. So that's why on a Saturday morning, I run the help. I'm in Clubhouse. Now what do I do? And that session there is to help them, not just around the technicalities, because there are loads of rooms on Clubhouse that are welcoming newbies and showing them what to do, but really getting them focused on what does this mean for you? Why are you here? How do you want to use it? What can we do to help and support you? How do you moderate a room? One thing I've realized is that moderation is not as easy as I thought it was. It comes naturally to me, but I realize it doesn't come naturally to everybody else, just like other things come naturally to others that don't come naturally to me. So moderation, I've noticed, is one of my new skill set. Who knew? So why not use that skill set to help other people have a really positive experience with Clubhouse and really, maximize it for their marketing and promotional efforts.
Excellent. So thank you, Gayle. And Melanie, can you tell about one room? I really loved it. It was laughter, and it was personalized visualization when we shared our dream vision and you guided people through. So can you give it as an example? Because as I understood, it's going to be like a regular feature.
Yeah, well, again, this was a power of connection and collaboration, which is, essential in business. So I did a room on the law of attraction, and this is another weekly room of mine, law of attraction for life, love and abundance, on a Friday at 11 o'clock. And Pete Can, also known Pete Can, the laughter man, he was in one of my rooms and we were talking about visualization, vision boards, and he then messaged me, said, oh gosh, I love manifesting vision boards. Would you fancy doing a room together? So I said, yeah, okay. Then we were kind of brainstorming ideas on, how this would work. He wanted me to literally just come in and talk about vision boards. So I said, well, look, why don't we combine the two? I said that this is completely experimental. I've never done this before. Why don't we get people to come up on stage to share their big goal, their big vision? I will guide them through a mini visualization, literally a minute. And then you will activate that vision through laughter, because one of the fastest ways to manifest your desires is by feeling good. One of the quickest ways to feel good is through laughter. So for me, it just made perfect sense. And, we tried this out as an experiment. And I know you both came on and shared your goals, but we had people sharing like, it was so wonderful. There were like, Oscar winning speeches, TED Talk, what else? Manifesting your soulmate, really deep heart desires. And it was just lovely for people to share them. And we got through quite a lot of people in an hour. It was such fun. And it's just an example of collaboration, working, utilizing each other's audiences. And yeah, we had a packed room. It was fantastic. So I think that is on a Tuesday at 2 o'clock, I think. Yeah.
It was a very, very good room. Very good room.
Yeah. Tuesday, 2 o'clock GMT. And by the way, I will put all the regular schedules in the description. So, and links to Melanie's and Gayle's, my profile. And you are welcome to follow. And attend our regular shows. And if you have any additional questions, please post them below. Ladies will come back and answer in the comment. And thank you for today.
Thank you, Inga.
Thank you, Inga. Thank you.